Sawadika, I'm Katie Katlia Salit Singh, and today you're with me for Be My Guest. I have Kun NASHA Raksawanit, who is the designer and also creative director of the brand NASHA Raksawanit. At the age of only 23, she attended a school in Milan where she went to go study the shoe pattern making class. After that, she received a scholarship, but instead she decided to start her own design accessory company. Since then, she's been involved with Paris Fashion Week, and not only that, but she's been voted by the senior fashion editor of Vogue Italia as Vogue Talents 2013. Today, let's go take a look at her and see what her collection is like. You're back with me, Katie Salit Singh, and I am with Kun NASHA Raksawanit. Sawadika. So today we are going to be talking about your brand, and I have to say you've created a fashion empire. But what I'm really curious about is how did you get started?
I was started because that time I was just finished from study from Italy. So I started because I wanted to do it for so long. So I was planning for half a year, doing a lot of research, business and stuff, like checking the market. So then, okay, I'm ready to start. So I choose to start in Paris because I think it's more international, and I want to build my brand for the international market, not only specific market.
But you received a scholarship, and you decided to throw that away and instead start up the company. So why did you decide you're not going to take the scholarship?
I think I've been studied for too long. Actually, it was okay, I was studying shoes pattern making in Italy, and then I started master degree. So then I think that I should work now because I want to know more about how to make this, that, and have more different experience. By the way. Yeah.
So putting study aside, you decided to venture on.
Yeah, because I got the scholarship and also the work offered in the same time. So I have to choose one.
So you had to make a choice. So once you started to work and you created your designs, what was the initial reaction from everyone around you? Were they supportive?
Yeah, they're really supportive. Everyone was like, yeah, start now, start now. I was like, okay, wait, let me think, let me do research. So I was okay, take it slow and do a research, make a business plan.
And once you finally started, what was your first customer like?
My first customer are quite okay, some are the people around me, they're okay, I'm waiting for this, so then they start buying. And then after that, the first season I started in Paris. So I went to the Paris Fashion Week for the showrooms and stuff. So yeah, the clients have quite good response. They're the international market.
So since then, you've moved on to design bags instead. But is it very different from what you've learned or designing shoes to begin with?
No, not really. It's quite, design part is quite in the same principle. Then, okay, from shoes it's harder for the sizing, for the etc. A lot of things. So then when you start bags, it's more free because it's more you can make any shape, and sculpture piece doesn't have to be fit with any sizes or anything. Just have something inside, and that's enough.
So one size fits all for every single purpose. But your designs are very unique. They're very structural. They're very very strong designs. Is that your main concept behind it, or does your concept always change with each collection?
My concept always change, not really the concept that changed, but it's more like a theme that changed, but in the same concept of the brand, that that have like structurals and stuff. But I didn't plan it before. Actually, it was just come naturally like that. Maybe because my background was interior designer.
That's right, you have a background in that, but you decided you didn't even want to do that as well.
Yeah.
But at least you found your path and you know what it is that you really, really love. But how about inspirations? Where do you draw your inspiration every time you have a new collection?
Most of my inspirations are from architect and art, and, but most are like more like architect and those stuff, because I really fascinated in architect and design. But then for me to do architect is quite.
You'd have to go learn again, study all over again.
So it really inspired me like when I travel to different cities and I see people, I see how they live and see the building, why the buildings are like this, because it's according to the human behavior kind of. So that inspired me.
Your designs are very unique because they have sort of an element of marbles or cement, which is kind of like architecture. Can you explain it?
Yeah, those are, I try to like experiment the new materials like slowly, because I think like, okay, I'm using leather, I use stingray and resin with the marbles matched inside and the brass. So I want to go more for the material developing, because it's really give the new touch of how the bag looks like, or give like a lot of interest for the clients, because as a young designer it's very competitive, so it needs to be like one step ahead always.
So it must be quite interesting when you're working with new materials, because you've got to shape it in a way so that it actually fits the bag. So it's kind of like the material has to work with you in sort of a way. How about when you're using materials like, is it marble or is it cement?
No, it's actually resin.
Oh, resin.
Yeah.
Is it locally sourced, some of the
Yes.
materials?
Some of them are locally sourced, but a lot, like the 80% are imported leather. And, yeah.
So what is the process of you actually coming up with a bag? How do you
Coming up
start?
with a bag? That's really a tough question. Well, so I would start for one bag for designing. So I design in a set. So then I start with each bag, how to produce it. I have my technician, like we always have a meeting, and I discuss with him a lot about how to make this model. Is it possible like this, like that? So then I'm the person who decide, okay, I will go on this way. So then that's how it starts at the beginnings. Yeah. And choosing the materials and colors. So it's quite everything all together, not really like I start one bag and then go to the other one. It's not really like that.
Has there ever been a time when they said, no, we can't design this bag? It's too complicated or it's too difficult?
Usually we make it happen, but sometimes have to compromise with some details, some elements, which actually maybe is only me and my technician who knows how hard it works to make this. But when it comes to the end product, we want it to look very simple, but make the client feel that, this one is fine, it's nice, like, okay, it's very fine made and stuff. But behind that is have a lot of details and a lot of things going on.
Very detailed oriented. You also mentioned that you have you and your technical team that work on the designs, but do you have sort of a marketing aspect or other people that also help you as well?
For the marketing aspect, I have the mentor in Paris, but like we discuss about the market, but almost everything I decided myself what to do, and I do more like research. So it's just like 20% of discussions, something like that.
Ever since you started, which is your most prized piece or which is your most popular item?
There's two items that a lot of people have a good feedback on it. One is my iconic piece, which is like one of the first model that I designed, which is Etienne, is this one. Yeah, it's a clutch, but some people really like this one, but they want something that more practical for daily use. So I also developed the other one that match together but have this quite a similar feeling but more practical in real life.
So this, as you said, what was it called again?
It's 8TM.
ATM. So how do you come up with all these names for all these different kinds of models?
Like this, the name have some details behind it, but for example, this one I was designing when I was sitting on a sofa and just pop up with this idea of making these materials like the H like this. And the name is one of the like the inventor, like the French inventor about kinetic sculptures, about the kinetic thing. So it was one of the concept of the brand that we start from the beginning.
So for this particular piece, what sort of material have you incorporated into it?
So basically it's the goat skins.
All of it is goat
All
skin.
of it, yeah. And here is a solid brass, but we do the powder coating, so then it's black. We do the powder coated to make it have the solid look,
Have a solid.
not like shiny or anything.
And it also has this sort of magnetic
Yes.
clip onto it so that you can open it and close it as well.
Yeah.
So what else is your other most prized piece that you have?
And this one is Russell. It's the one that I mentioned before, was developed from this one, but I wanted to make it more practical. So it come this one that have like the top handle with a chain strap.
So very similar design to the first one as well. You've got the brass with the
Powder
powdered coating.
yeah.
Also, is it goat skin?
Yes. It's
So-
goat skin.
Also, again, a magnetic. So this is a more practical kind of bag as well. Does it have sort of like the long strap?
Yes, have the chain strap. So it's, you can imagine, it's very easier to use than this one. Like for me, I'm the person who have very little stuff, so I can fit my life in here, but most girls not.
So what about for people who have a lot more things, or like for example I do, is there going to be an opportunity in the future that you might create a bigger bag?
Well, I tried, but it's actually not really my thing. I tried many times, but I'm not the person who use the big bag myself, so I don't know what people would want to have, like what would you put it in or anything. So then I'm more keen on doing the small stuff, the
Smaller size.
sculpture piece. I know it's not practical, but I just like it.
All right then, well, let's take a short break, and when we come back we'll be taking a look at how it is that you were able to start this brand internationally, because surprisingly it was not started in Thailand, but instead it was started abroad. So we'll talk about how it was either imported or let's just say exported around the world. We'll be back.